It's
we
nice.
don't mind. It's one set and we're
very
happy to do
nice.
it.
Bill Burr.
What's going on?
Hey, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. What's going on? A little tired this morning. Thanks to you and Maureen and everyone else that put that benefit together last night.
I stayed up till like 3:30.
Did you really?
Did you go to the stand? I was going to go, but I just can't do it. The old lady on weeknights.
Your presence was missed.
I wanted to go, though. I was like, fuck.
You know, I found a new way to avoid to annoy fucking Voss.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just, you know, Jim's like in the best shape since I fucking known him.
Right.
You know? And I mentioned that to Voss because Jim was standing there waiting to go on. I go, geez, look at Jim. He's just wearing a T-shirt. He looks like a friggin' action hero. Look at this guy. Right? It's like action hero Jimmy is what I was saying. Try to make a joke, like you know, comic. Basically compliment Jim and then also fucking make fun of him.
Right.
And Voss is like, no, he isn't.
Right.
Well, I'm in better shape than him. And I was immediately, of course, picked it like, oh my God, like he wanted to be the in shape Jersey comic. And I just kept repeatedly complimenting, going, I feel Jimmy's back, man. Look at how fucking tough he is.
He can't handle. Voss can't handle
Why
it.
can't Voss handle any of that stuff? Why does he have
Why can't I adjust this fucking chair?
I don't know.
Help our guest,
It's
Sam.
early.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
There you go. Now you're moving downwards.
That's right.
What if Voss was the only one that like plugged his own shit up there?
Yeah, he was trying
Everyone
to
else is
stall.
Yeah. You want to
Yeah,
make sure.
he kind of like I guess brought the benefit into the modern era. I think it's tragedy plus time. I think it's time I like my fucking wife's movie. No, he was great last night as always. You know what's fucking hilarious about him? He gets so goddamn nervous until he walks on stage.
And kills.
He was pacing like a fucking open micer. I'm like, what are you worried about?
Yeah, so he performed like one. Yeah, he destroys it. He panics before. It's like, hey, dummy, you're going to kill. You kill every year.
And then he just walks around telling everyone he's having an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
We all hear the same shit, I would assume. Oh my God! I had a fight with Barney. And I'm having an anxiety attack, and then he goes and tells Florentine the exact same thing. Then Norton, he goes around in the circle, and then gets back to me, and I'm like, "You've already told me this 3 times. I don't know what else to say to you."
What are you panicking for?
Right.
Well, what's great is when he gets in those moods, is any little thing you say about him, he freaks out.
Right.
Voss, you gonna wear that?
Yeah.
This is DKNY.
Right.
Colin got him good in the dressing room. Maureen is telling everybody, all right, we just got to, the way we did it was we do this show, and then afterwards we all took a photo together, the comedians on the stage, when the crowd cleared out. So Maureen was telling us all that. She's like, well, so hopefully everyone can stay. And then Colin's like, well, Voss can't because he has a what did he say, domino game in Little Havana?
Yeah.
Because of his shitty shirt.
Well, he thought he looked good in this shitty shirt. He goes, "There's nothing wrong with my shirt, is there?" It's exhausting to be around him.
I loved how Robinson wasn't on the show this year, you know, because we're trying to jumble up the lineup just so we don't do the exact same thing every year. And Keith Robinson came by just to be mean to people. I know. I thought he was like showing up to show support. He was just walking like a shark, circling everybody, looking at your haircut, your shirt, and all that.
That was a nice green room until he showed up, and then everyone was hiding their shoes.
Oh, everybody becomes defensive.
Of course.
I heard him before I saw him. We were sitting there on the couch,
right?
And I hear, shh. And I'm like, I know that's Keith. Nobody else would do that at a benefit.
Yeah. And then he just...
Oh, I thought that was you guys doing it.
No. And then he just attacks everybody.
Yeah, you can see his glasses poking from around the door. He was shishing.
I just want to be able to relax.
Oh, and his Eddie Vedder shirt. He was really bugging me last night. That dumb flannel he had on.
And Bob Kelly was backstage. A few guys came by just to, show support and hang out.
Yeah, both Bobby and Keith this year were just like, listen, I know other guys want to get on it, and dude, there's so many people that want to do it. Like, somebody told me last night, it's like Russ Maneve, and I was like, oh my God, how the fuck did I forget to ask? There's just so many guys. So Russ Maneve, if he's listening, he's definitely next year. I got to get him. I can't fucking believe I did 3 of these and I didn't ask. There's just so many guys that loved him, and so many guys. Dude, I got all these guys on the West Coast going, dude, I'll fly in. I don't give a shit. I just want to do it, and blah, blah, blah.
You should just do 2 shows next year, but it's different lineups. I mean, you and Jimmy and a couple of the guys would probably have to do both.
Maybe 2
both
nights.
shows.
2 nights. Well, then I got to.
You guys
got to get double the fees.
Yeah, I got to pay the.
You guys could flip that room. You could do a nice little flip.
Yeah, you could do. You have to do it on, but the problem is you have to do it on a weekend if it's going to be a late show.
True. Imagine 2 different lineups though. That would be amazing.
Well, maybe what we'll do is next year if we try to do like a Saturday night, I'll just try to I've always done it on the weird night, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, because I'm trying to work around comic schedules.
Right.
Guys are always working on the weekends, and that's why I really appreciate fans. They got to get there by 7. They're rushing out of work, and you never realize how many people are there till the end when the lights come up.
Yeah,
and you're just like, wow, man.
You're like, holy fuck, that goes way up there.
Yeah,
and that's a steep room.
But the thing
Yeah,
of it, though, because it's so close.
It's
Right.
a testament to how much people, love Patrice and all that. So it's awesome. So maybe next year, try not to get
Just a
greedy. And I also, I didn't know how to do it either because I didn't want to be like, hey, can you guys do 2 shows? And I know Jim's got to get up. And all
No,
this
if you
shit.
get different guys though, because you have plenty of guys to fill up the card. Whatever.
I can easily sit here and say yes, but if Maureen Tarrant is listening right now, she's going, oh God, twice as many psycho comics to deal with.
Yeah, she's pulling out her hair. She knows how to run a show, though, man.
Yeah. Oh, believe me.
She's the hero behind this, huh?
She totally, dude.
But you downplay it, Bill. You've taken this whole thing up.
You know what? I usually do the downplay thing, but I'm not on this one.
Okay, good.
I could never, because I remember the first year, people refused to believe, like, there's no way Burr organized this fucking thing, and they were 100% right. I was like, yeah, Maureen did.
Yeah, but you were the one who said, we got to do something. This needs to be done.
It was a conversation sitting right here talking to Jimmy.
Right.
And it was when we first heard that, the benefit, as they said, went away. I'm not going to get into the details other than it was supposed to be
I forgot
at
about
the
that.
Beacon. Comedy Central was going to film it. This
Right.
big fucking thing was supposed to go down. And all of a sudden,
Nothing.
I called my agent. I'm like, hey, man, I got my ticket. I'm coming. And it was like, all right. Right up until a month before. And all of a sudden, it was just like, yeah, it went away. And exactly. And that was the look. I'm like, what do you mean it went away? And some politics, some bullshit. I'm not even going to get into it. And I just came in here and I said to Jim, I go, what do they mean it went away? And he's like, I know. And I go, dude, does your want to raise money for Patrice's loved ones, has that gone away? He's like, no, me neither. I go,
Right.
and I didn't think then, and I think I just happened to run into Maureen down I think it was down the cellar or something. I just happened to run into her, and we were just talking about it, and then she was just like, why don't you produce the thing? Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, how do you do that? It was fucking hilarious. That's the only producing I did. I just go, how do you do that? And she goes, well, you do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, can you do that?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
I'll ask this, I'll do the easy stuff.
Right.
So
that's how we all work. Let's be honest.
You know what you got to do one year, though? Get only comics that Patrice would have hated. You really got to stick it to him once like that. Just get all the people that would draw that Patrice would have hated, but you don't tell them that's what you're doing until I'm surprised you asked me. Like, no, that's important.
And then we got to find a picture of him, that face he would make when he hated the comic on stage, and you just have that up during their set.
Ah, man. No, it was great. It was a smooth show. I was telling Jimmy right before you entered, it was the best reaction.
Well, you know
You've
what?
had some amazing comics in the last 3 years, but last night was tight. Everyone had amazing
last night
sets.
we had less comics, because the first 2 years we had like fucking 13 comics in 2 hours. It was like go. It was going to.
Oh, okay.
And everybody had to kind of.
So that helped the rhythm and the pacing of the thing.
Yeah, so that's what we learned after 2 years. We were just like, why don't we do less comics, more time, so guys can get into like a flow. And even then, I mean, you're asking Monster Comics to do like 10, 15, and for
The other years were very good. Don't get me wrong, but there was something about last night. People seemed way more relaxed, and they were just doing their shit and getting just a huge response.
It did feel like
no one felt rushed or something. I don't know.
Right.
But man, way to go, Bill.
There was more space to breathe this year.
And I was telling these guys that you were telling me, she's got a condo now because of the money raised over the last few years. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. That's amazing. This isn't the No More of the Pink Football campaign where we're raising awareness. We're actually, other than the money we got to put up for the venue,
right?
To rent out the venue, it all just goes to his immediate loved ones.
I'm sure everyone knows the comics are donating their time. They're not getting even a taste. So.
Well, I'm getting a piece.
Jimmy gets a lot of money. Jimmy gets
absolutely.
All right. A portion of Jim's proceeds go to the awareness that Patrice O'Neal was the greatest comic of our generation.
That's right. And then I put on my glasses and I go over a receipt and I talk to the mother and we deal with things.
Bill, man, holy shit, you've been on a tear. We were. Yeah. I guess we got to make believe. I didn't talk to you backstage. You were telling me all sorts of stories from around the fucking world.
Yeah.
Bill's made me kind of want to go out and travel. It's like now I'm thinking of it, like, fuck, man.
I've been telling you for years, dude. When I flew into fucking Singapore.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm terrified. This is the first time. Forget about trying to do a stand-up show. I've just ever been in a country where people get caned and hung for shit that
minor shit.
Not really minor, but I mean,
minor. If you do the same shit in the United States, you're not getting hung.
You're not going to get. Yeah, you might get.
You might get a weekend in jail.
Lethal injection.
No, right.
Yeah, but if you like vandalize a building or something like that, like you'll get caned.
Yeah.
And there's a video on, and that's the only thing I knew about Singapore was I watched a video of some guy getting caned. So I'm going through like security, and I don't have any visa to work there, and I'm total disorganized comic, and I didn't know that you didn't need one in this country. Like they don't give a shit. So I'm just sitting there going, all right, I'm going to watch. Just say we're on vacation, and we're literally there for like a day and a half, which makes no sense. Like, yeah, we're here to pick up a bag of money. And it just seems like a drug deal or something. And just showed up, easiest country ever to get in, and I'm still just fucking nervous. Because all I hear is what Singapore's like is from people whove never been there in America. Like, dude, if you spit gum on the street, they shoot you in the face. Right? Shit. So I ended up going down right after baggage claim. I'm walking out with the promoter, and this kid from Singapore comes walking up. He's like, hey, Bill Burr, hey. He goes, hey, don't worry, because he heard me talking about it on the podcast. He goes, don't worry about it. You can talk whatever. I listen to your podcast, blah, 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 blah. Like, you talk about whatever you want. And then he said, he goes, no, I love you. Used to love listening to you and Patrice on the Opie and Anthony show. This is the middle of fucking Singapore.
That's crazy.
Singapore.
Think.
And I did a podcast before I went to India. I called those guys up. Wow. And they were just like, Bill, we have to ask you about the Philly thing. It's like, wow. So
they're podcasting in India?
Yeah.
That's so strange to me, man.
Well, this is the thing. Russell Peters, this is what I've learned. Like, everybody goes, who's the biggest comic, Louis or Kevin Hart or whatever.
Right.
Here, stateside, I think that's the debate. But around the world, Russell Peters.
Hands down.
Oh, dude, he played like the fucking O2 Arena. He played like where the Foo Fighters played in like England. And he went to a part of the world where, I might be out of line here, but I mean, he went to countries there was no stand-up scene, and now there's stand-up.
Right.
So, like, the level of influence that he, like, got these guys to do it, and these countries where they have, like, a really restrictive government and that type of thing, like, they're going through their Lenny Bruce years right now. Like, those guys I did the podcast for, they had like the country's first ever roast, I guess, or roast type format, and they did it. And this is the thing: the people love it.
Sure,
like the roast fucking killed, and then it's just like over here. Then they decided to upload it, and then every Tom, Dick, and Harry can go see it, or whatever the fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry in India's name is. They fucking, and all of a sudden they had 8 million views, and then it's all these complaints, all these religious groups, and like now they're sort of like laying low. They took it down. The government's involved in it, but it's not like they're going to get beaten or go to jail, but it's just like...
It scared them a little bit.
They could be like lawsuits, and if people wanted to be assholes, they could drag it out in like 8 years.
Right. In
court and everything. So it like... That was a big thing when I went through Asia, like the places I went to, like the government was, when I got off the plane there in Singapore, fucking nervous. And I said to the lady, okay, so what are the rules here? And she's like, all right, don't talk about race or religion. And I go, okay. I go, that's it? She goes, yeah. And I go, what about the government? She makes this face. She's like, yeah, don't talk about them either. So I was all fucking nervous. But then I show up to do the gig, and the guy opening for me was from Pakistan, and he went to fucking UMass Amherst. How hilarious is that?
Funny.
Born there and then went over, and he's like, he's like, yeah. He goes, don't fucking worry about it. And he went out and talked about all of that shit. Crowd loved it. It was like a New York crowd. It's a very like mixed kind of deal over there as far as ages, race, religions. Yeah, and
right.
Super modern and all that. And he told me that basically if you were going to get in trouble for that shit, you'd have to have like locally live there, and every week you'd be talking about the government, and every week they could keep getting complaints, and then eventually they'd send a guy down.
Right.
And that's like the jerk-off job. Like, go down and talk to this dumbass comedian. You go down there, and the worst thing would happen, either the promoter, the venue, or the comic would just get a fine. But you don't get, like, fucking caned.
So all of a sudden, they don't have you, and they're caning the shit out of you personally.
Yeah.
Not your first trip, but especially if you're out in a day and a half, it's just too much of a headache.
That's got to be kind of nerve-wracking, no matter what people tell you before you hit the stage with that. You got to have it in the back of your head, like,
dude, Singapore, too, it's gorgeous, it's totally up to date, but there was this fucking mom and dad are home vibe.
Right.
Where it's just this little island, and they got that thing on fucking lockdown. Like, you're allowed to fucking go outside and play and all that shit, but the parameters are you just feel them. They are fucking, like, over there, because it's just a little island, and they want to control how many cars you have over there, like, any car that you have over there costs you like 4 or 5 times what it would cost here. And I was pointing out this fucking $22,000 hunk of shit that you'd buy your fucking daughter.
Sure.
Which
goes to college or something.
Goes to college. One of those.
Yeah.
I was like, how much would that cost over here? And the guy was like, about $110,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and then this is the deal. You can only keep the car for 10 years. You have to get rid of it after 10 years. You either have to junk it or you can export it, sell it to somebody else, but you have to get it because they control it. So because of that, there was like no classic cars. I didn't see anything like I might have seen one or two, but like just generally speaking, it was all late model cars.
Right. And no cars just hanging out in front yards or anything like that.
Oh, none of that shit with an engine hanging from a tree.
Yeah.
Somebody would actually take the risk of getting caned by fucking stealing that thing because it's probably worth like $900,000 if you had a V8.
You think it's a good way to live, or is
What's
it too
that?
strict? Like, what was your feel for that? That they're so controlling and
I would go. Well, first of all, I've been like just going to Hawaii. I would go fucking batshit crazy on an island after a while. I would just fucking, and one day I would lose my shit and run into the ocean. Just freak. But
Right.
it was. I would say just being there for a day and a half, so I can't really. I would say maybe dial it back like 11%.
Right.
It was just a little
too tight.
I wasn't there long enough to figure out what the weirdness was. Like, Nia was the one who kind of figured it out. And she's like, I don't know, man. There's a fucking weird vibe here. I can't put my finger on it. And then she kind of broke it down. It was like afterwards thinking about it, like, oh, yeah, I guess I did kind of notice that. But like, prostitution is legal there. And they actually have a brothel over there, a 4-story brothel. It's called 4 Floors of Whores. It's what
wow. That's great. Catchy.
Yeah, and they were like, hey, do you guys want to go over there? Because they don't, like, judge it or anything like that. So I was sitting there, wow, look at that. They don't have, like, the hang-ups we have. And then Nia's like, yeah, but all the hookers, they got to fly them in from, like, Vietnam.
Right.
You know, so it's, like, sort of, like, mildly racist. Like, hey, well, yeah.
They don't have any locals?
Yeah, don't shoot any loads on the locals.
Now, if it's 4 floors of whores, it must get really ugly as you're getting to the 4th floor. I would imagine the good ones.
Better. The view you'd have fucking on that 4th floor.
I think they would keep the good ones on the 1st floor.
Well, let's think about it. If you're going to have a 4-story brothel, I figure you got room for a beautiful foyer when
Right.
people walk in.
Wonderful foyer.
Maybe some marble floors.
Right.
A grand staircase.
I think you get some uglies on the 4th floor that'll just do whatever the hell.
Yeah, the 4th floor, the back
I think the 4th
rooms.
floor has got to be just an ugly, nasty place.
One of them, at least in Brazil, one of them is a changing area. I don't know if they let you change in the rooms, but there was a locker room area. So there was one floor in Brazil that there was nothing other than just preparation stuff and getting ready.
Get a little locker for yourself?
Yeah, then you go upstairs and start. So it was actually 3 floors.
3 floors of whores?
Yeah.
Preparation area.
Preparation area, yeah.
Up, down with your dick.
Does anyone just spit gum in Singapore, like, just to test that whole
like the
nonsense?
thing. No, you just get a fine. You get a fine.
Yeah.
But somebody was trying to say that gum isn't even, like, they don't import it. Like, you're allowed to bring it in and you're allowed to chew it.
Right.
But they don't want it stuck to every fucking thing. So, there was certain things. There's certain things with some of those countries where it's just so fucking nuts you can't believe it. But then you kind of look at the results. Like in Saudi Arabia, like if you fucking steal, they just chop off your hand. They literally have this square called Chop Chop Square. And people, I've never been there, and people said that, like, they don't even lock the stores, and they got, their jewelry's just sitting right out there if you just know that that's going on. But I mean, that's like, God forbid you get the wrong guy. I don't fucking know, but it's
They must like cutting off hands. It's almost like they leave the stuff there, like, go ahead and take it, and there's someone's going to try to take it.
Yeah, they're just, yeah.
Yeah, over here that'd be called, it was a trap,
daring you.
man.
Yeah.
He only did it once. We come up with a reason.
They're tempting you.
Yeah.
And they probably put better and better stuff out. They just want to chop off hands. So where'd you go? You went to Singapore, Hong Kong?
Yeah, this is after touring Australia and New Zealand. And
So how long have you been on the road?
oh, dude, I left sometime in January, like the 24th.
You haven't been home since January?
Yeah, no.
So you're finally flying home soon?
Yeah,
In the next couple days?
we came in here to do the benefit, and then I wanted to make sure I kept time so, I could, well, first of all, I just wanted to fucking regroup, man. I'm not as young as I used to be, and I had like one 14-hour flight, one 10-hour flight, and one 13-hour flight. Like, I didn't realize New Zealand to Singapore was fucking 10 hours.
Oh, my God.
I thought it was going to be like 5.
Right.
I'm thinking I'm already on this side of the world.
Right.
And
Would you give yourself a 1-day lag, kind of like I'll work Tuesday, then Thursday do a gig?
yeah, we had a couple of, like, the way they set it up, Berkowitz, the way he set the thing up was perfect. Like, if I had a short flight, we'd come in, we'd do the gig that night, and then we had the next day to hang around. But it was great. Like a buddy of mine that I started out doing comedy, Al Del Benny.
Oh, yeah.
He married an Australian woman, and he's temporarily or maybe permanently moved to Sydney. And he just hit me up out of nowhere, like, "Hey man, can I come down to the Opera House tonight?" And he ended up opening, doing some time on that. And
really,
yeah, it was. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't bring in the fucking shirt. This dude in Sydney made the sickest Patrice O'Neal shirt.
Right.
I got to show it to you,
I
Jim.
think I saw these two there, right?
He's got you on the shirt, dude. On the front, it's just this great picture of Patrice, with the hat, like a side profile,
Sure.
and then I think it says "bitches ain't shit." And then in the back is a picture. He just did like an amalgam of all these cool photos of all of us, and he kind of made it look like they had put the cellar in the background.
Nice.
And it was me, Keith, Jimmy, Colin, Bobby, and Voss.
Wow.
On the back. Dude,
That's awesome.
what killed me was I was getting off stage, he just sort of handed it to me.
Right.
And I was just like, "Oh yeah, hey, thanks." And I gave him like my set list. And
Right.
then I looked back at this fucking work of art, and I just gave him a fucking piece of paper with scribbles on it.
with bit starters.
I was just like, yeah. I was just like, "Oh man, I feel like an asshole." But a lot of people, talking about you guys, a lot of people talking about Patrice, and how I got over there is a combination of people, watching my specials legally or illegally, but like you have no idea, like the power of like the internet, like how, people are gonna find funny, and the fact is that we're ahead of the game with stand up. I mean, it started here,
Right.
So people are
really, searching you guys out.
yeah, it's like people who are into NBA around the basketball around the world know the top like NBA
Sure.
guys out there. It's just like whatever you're into.
I would love to take the show to London. Just start easy. All nice. We'll go over there for a long weekend. Jimmy does a few
Dude,
sets.
they'd love you over there.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you the place to start out at. I've been telling him.
Yes.
I've been telling Jimmy for fucking years.
It's a whole nother market for you,
Bill has
Jimmy.
really made me want to do it. Like Australia, I
should
think is where
try
I
it.
want to start. For some reason, Australia is where I really want to. That's the first place I want to go. I don't know. I mean, I would do somewhere else, but Australia to me seems like the most.
You should just try it.
Australia's
Seems like
awesome.
more
It
and
is,
more
right?
of you guys are doing
Yeah,
this.
and go out to Perth. Bon Scott's grave is out there. I got to go.
Oh, yeah,
to
I saw
Bon
your
Scott's
pictures.
grave. It's fucking awesome, man. They got this statue, and they.
Are they fucking up his spot, or are they being cool?
No, totally being cool. The only thing that was fucked up is I went there and someone had, there was a couple of empty alcohol bottles, which is really fucked up when somebody dies of alcohol abuse. I mean,
Yeah.
someone was joking about that. Leave syringes at some heroin guy's butt. But somebody had left a Miller Genuine Draft empty bottle. And I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, like, all right, that is considered an import
Right.
over here. But I just can't picture Bon Scott drinking a fucking Miller Genuine Draft.
I imagine it's the thing to do, though. You go to his grave and just have a cold one.
Yeah, toast them.
Yeah, toast
How
him.
many drunks have probably made dramatic statements? You know what I mean? Fuck your Bond. And they cried and just made everyone
His
uncomfortable.
coffin's probably beer soaked.
Yeah.
Everyone just pouring a little for Bond.
Actually, no, he was, this is creepy to know this, but he was cremated because it's just
Okay.
it's a little thing, which is
Urn or
really
whatever.
a good idea because I think they had to move Jim Morrison's body before somebody dug it up because they already were taking shit off of his grave. And it was
Right.
just like, by the time I went to Morrison's grave, like, you remember, I always for years just saw that head that they had of him, like just the bust, I should say.
Yeah.
On top, which was kind of iconic at that point, because if you looked up pictures of him, eventually they just had the gravestone, and somebody stole that. Like, somebody fucking has that in their house.
But they start taking pieces off that, too. A lot of people just have a little piece of it, and then someone finally took the whole thing or the rest of it.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Where'd they put
look
his
at all the
body?
graffiti, but all the tombs in that grave yard. Look at a lot of
Dude, and that is so fucking hard to find. It's like they don't even want you to find it.
I would imagine in
Where is
Paris,
that? Oh,
right?
it's in France,
In Paris. And they, like, when you walk into that cemetery, it's just a bunch of fucking foreigners walking around, and as you see another foreigner, you're looking on their face like, did you find it yet? Did you find? No, we can't find it. And they give you a map, but I don't know what it is. Nobody could seem to find it. And then finally, you wander around literally for like 20 minutes, and you get to the point of, what the fuck am I? What am I, a teeny bopper?
No,
what do I give a shit? What am I doing? And
I
then,
think that's kind of a cool one to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I would like to see that. I was a big Doors
Seattle's
fan.
probably the best thing because I think they got Jimi Hendrix and Bruce Lee. That's pretty badass.
Maybe Bruce Lee in Seattle? Wow,
Yes.
I never would have guessed that.
I didn't know they did. They went to Hong Kong and they had his statue. And I was like, is he buried out here? Right? This fucking morbid tourism going on. They're like, nah, he's in Seattle.
What was the morbid tour?
I'm just saying because I'd already gone to Bon Scott's grave, and then I was just starting to become the grave guy, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to.
I don't know. I think we all kind of like to do shit like that.
What
right?
time do you get up when you're on the road? Do you like say I'm going to go out and do shit all day? Like I kind of envy that. Like, what do you get up at like 10 or 11 and just go out and see the city?
I usually, I try to do so. Like I always, when I did the road, at first I would just do the gig and do that, and my life just became fucking hotel rooms, morning radio, do the gig, go to sleep, wake up, more radio. Like it was becoming that Groundhog Day thing, and my act was just drying up because there's only so many bits you can do about fucking going through security and all of that shit. So I started building it around sporting events, just to give me something to look forward to, because I wasn't selling any fucking tickets. And, Jim knows, when we were coming up, like, we came up after the big 80s boom. So that right when we started to like headline, man, there was this other brutal lull. And, you had those guys, remember those guys that would just hire a room full of telemarketers, and you'd walk in going, oh my God, look at all the people here. And you thought they were there for you, and none of them knew you. No one could give a fuck.
Oh my God, for real?
Yeah. And they're all hammered.
Right.
And they're all drinking with people that they know from work.
Right.
And it's just, you talk about this guy, all of that shit. And it's just like, you had to go up there with like a whip and a chair, and it was just like, so as long as I had like the game.
Right.
Going to like, Mile High Stadium, went to all these legendary,
You've pretty much been to every stadium, right?
That matters, yeah.
Just about, huh? Which one haven't you hit? You do a lot of college football games, I know.
Yeah, I've moved on to that now.
Yeah.
There's like 120-something professional sports teams, and I've seen a home game of like 113 or 14 of them.
No kidding.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is so many of them, I went to the game by myself, and there's a stranger holding the camera, taking my pictures. This is before selfies.
Yeah.
My disposable camera. That's when I used to do gigs.
That's cool.
My college agent, Bass Schuler, back in the day out of Chicago, booked me all over the Midwest. And
why couldn't we figure out the selfie until a few years ago? Why couldn't we just go, I'm by myself, I'm going to take the picture this way?
People still do that, but you couldn't turn your camera around to make sure.
Right. But now it's the thing. You have to do the selfie. That's what makes it cool for some reason.
No ability to check, though. It's,
Yeah.
One of the soon-to-be hackiest topics out there will be bits about the selfie stick. I already want to do something about it, but I know everyone's going to do it. It's just
the dumbest thing. I see it all over New York City.
What is it?
It's like a 4-foot stick that people carry around. Then they have the camera way up in the air, and they could take. Look, there it is.
The bit I'm doing.
The selfie stick. That. Why would you walk around with that thing?
The bit that I was doing on that fucking thing is basically how I'm always trying to think, how am I going to parachute out of this business someday? Because you're never done with the business. The business is always done with you before you fucking realize it. And I'm like, I'll be like backing out of Hollywood, like my hat in my hand. I can still play the grandfather. That's
having a Mr. Saturday Night argument.
I can still play the grandfather.
I'm sitting there going like, how the fuck can I start making money outside this business? And I always wanted to just come up with some dumb fucking thing for 1995, and I just can't figure out what the fuck it is. The goddamn selfie stick, it was just sitting right there waiting to be invented.
I know.
That thing, even the person who got fucked over, because the Shark Tank shit, those billionaire guys buy you out and then they give you like bullshit and you got to sue them. It's the typical behind the music horse shit.
Right.
But even with the amount that they're going to sell them, you're still going to be a fucking millionaire as long as you're not a dummy.
Look how easy this one was.
Where do you carry it though?
It folds all the way up. They got all the angles.
And how does your phone use it? Like, how do you fucking hit the? I guess you could time it.
You know what I'm picturing right now? The person who invented it sitting across the table from the guy with the money, as you asked that. But how do you fold? You just want to. All right, we'll work on that. Fucking cocksucker. This is probably like 5 years of goddamn development.
You think the first one was like a stiff piece of bamboo that you had to just carry like a fucking spear?
It was literally a stick. Duct tape.
Where's the button? I'm sure there's a button on this damn thing.
There is a button, yeah. There's a button.
The guy who did that he's got to be a multimillionaire.
I would
look
never
how easy
catch
that
ridiculous.
One is.
Just hold out your arm.
I would love to say that he is, but when you see like Lord of the Rings, how that grossed $6 billion and the company was saying we're still not in profit and everybody had to sue
to
get the money. Like I don't see the selfie stick guy getting all his money.
Right.
Yeah. You're
Sorry.
born with a selfie stick. It's called an arm. You just fucking hold it up.
Exactly. How much further away do you need to be from the camera?
There it is.
So dumb.
All Voss's selfies are close-ups.
Very good.
Little teeny arm.
What about the rest of the world? So, how was India?
Thank you for explaining my corny joke.
Oh, it's okay. I was happy just to further insult him.
I had a brother that did brother-in-law that did a lot of business in India, and he said it's fascinating because all the
It's fucking. I finally came up with it last night. The best way to explain it is like if you turn CBGB's into a city.
Really?
That is like Mumbai. Yeah, it's total like a punk rock.
right,
It's complete chaos, but it's fucking awesome.
and they all just live together. Like you're walking down the road, someone's on a mule trying to get to work, and then a Mercedes is right
Yeah, I
next
was
to them
saying
at
that.
a
Yeah,
light.
like there was like. I mean, I don't want to paint a fucking ignorant picture of this, okay? You're not going to go there and see snake charmers and all that shit that we think that we're going to see there. People with the curly Q fucking shoes.
Right.
No, I drove around like a day and a half out there, probably covered at least 40 to 50 miles of the city, and I saw 2 cows when I was there, so it's not like they're all over the place. But what killed me was they were stray cows. Like a fucking stray is a fucking cow. And it would just be sitting there and they eat the trash, and that blows your mind. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like a Mercedes goes by. It's like the greatest jaywalkers I ever saw.
What do you mean?
They just fucking just go. It's like
They just go?
they just walk off the curb and step into traffic. They don't speed up or slow down. Neither does the traffic, and nobody gets hit. Wow. I was riding in the cab. We were riding over to do like, I'm telling the story the wrong way here. I get there, and like, India was the biggest fucking pain in the ass to get in there. Like, we had to go down in L.A., give the passports to the fucking India consul, whatever the fuck you call it. Just give them the passports and leave. We'll give you these things back in 10 days. You know, we got to send them up to San Francisco. And I just kept going like, wait, you can't just give me the fucking piece of paper now, or look, here's this. You got my shit. You got my information. Let me leave with my passport. And when you have the thing that you need to stick in, I'll bring it back. No, that's not how it works. So we fucking, gave him to him. So 10 days later, it comes back. I should have brought the fucking thing in. I'm such an idiot this morning. It just has an extra piece of paper now stapled in, like where you would get stamped, except it's your work visa. And then I show up, and I get there, and it turns out that once you get in, you need a piece of paper to get out. I'm like, what do you mean I can't get out? I got my passport. And they're like, nah, it's this new fucking thing. I guess the United States fucks with Indian tourists when they come over. They really break their balls because they think they're going to illegally immigrate. So this is their fuck you back, where they fuck with U.S. people. And what's funny is way more so on the West Coast than the East Coast. Because I don't know why. I'm guessing somebody on the West Coast, like Governor Schwarzenegger, somebody from like California, somebody said something about India or something. But like, like the story I kept hearing was Norah Jones couldn't get out. Like, she had to spend an extra day there. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, they won't let her out. They'll fucking put me in prison.
You got a few extra days on your hands.
Yeah, so I wake up in the morning and I got to go down to this governmental building, and the guy's saying, like, listen, he's handing me this pamphlet, and he's going like,
this is the States or India?
This is in India. And he's handing me this shit, going like, this is your passport, this is a copy of your visa, this is your little picture, they're going to ask for this. This thing here is called this. And I'm going, dude, can you just handle this? He goes, no, I'm not allowed to go in there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Meanwhile, the guy driving is running every fucking red light, like barely even slowing down. I'm like, dude, do like red lights count out here? And he laughs. Not this time of morning. He's just blowing through. I'm telling you, dude, fucking punk rock shit, just chaos.
Right.
And what killed me is Seinfeld's coming there next month. He's playing this fucking awesome venue, of course. And I fucking so we show up, and I go into this fucking building, and I got to go up there, and I'm sitting in line with all these people, and we go, get checked in, and I'm sitting in this fucking room, and I suddenly realized, I was having this flashback as I was sitting in the room, remember in Stripes when the guy was teaching the English to people?
Oh, yeah,
that son of bitch, shit, son of bitch, shit. I was thinking, like, I'm the son of bitch shit guy, because I don't speak the language, and I'm sitting there with all these fucking people. There was like a lady next to me from Afghanistan, this other guy from fucking, I don't know where he was, New Zealand or Australia, all trying to get this fucking piece of paper to get out of there, dude. And they said it'd only take 30 minutes. It took like 2 hours and 45 minutes, just like the DMV. All these papers, I didn't have the right fucking papers. I had to go back out. My phone was dying. walking back out in the streets of India, looking around like, Jesus, how do I find this guy?
Yeah.
And yeah, he came out of the crowd out of nowhere, and I kind of charmed the lady upstairs, and I was able to get him in. And
what a pain in the ass.
So wait, is there any way to get the exit paper before you get there? No. So you have to go to a government building when you're there?
Yeah, and they charge you for the folder you got to put in, but it's like 45 cents. They're not even making any money.
It's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and dude, I go in there, and they got all these file cabinets like stacked up that you can see into with the glass, and all of them are empty except for one that looks like has like the original papers of the Bible is what it looks like, and it just says computer. Like, it's like, what is that? The fucking owners, man? Like, and it was wrapped in this, like, rubber band or something. I was just like, dude, I could light that on fire. Nobody is looking at those old ass.
No one's gonna ever touch that again. That's funny.
Yeah, but it was this weird sort of like complete, like, levels of poverty you'd never seen, and then you just see a group of hipsters that you could see in Brooklyn, except they were Indian kids with skinny jeans that are hanging off their fucking asses,
I asked you last night, you think they, know they're that poor? Does it bother them as much as it does us seeing that from where we come from?
Yeah, I think you're that poor, but
I mean, are they bothered by it?
Well, I hung out with all these Indian comics after. It was such a fucking great night.
Yeah.
And they were asking all kinds of stories about Patrice, Jimmy, and all these guys that they, because they're like trying to learn. And they're watching all, these English and American comics, Australian, all these guys. And I was saying, like, dude, I just can't believe I just saw a fucking cow outside this beautiful restaurant. This fucking cow is like, restaurant's beautiful, but 2 doors down is this pile of trash, and there's this stray cow eating out of the fucking thing.
Right.
I just remember.
So weird.
We went over to go take a picture next to it, like tourists. And I remember, like, the next day when you fill out the passport, have you been next to any livestock or anything? And I'm like, no. I'm like, yeah, actually, I have.
We all say no to those questions.
Yeah, but
you gotta.
But like I said, I just can't get over that. And I saw some, like, fucking, like, this fucking the poorest kid I've ever seen in my life. Some little toddler kid with just a shirt going to the bathroom barefoot and just fucking walked away like
nothing.
Dude, I just said to my wife, I go, don't turn to the left, don't turn to the left. Dude, it was fucking heartbreaking. But I talked to the Indian comics. They're totally aware of it. And they just said, like, the promoter was just telling me, he just said, look, I grew up here and I'm just desensitized. He goes, I know, but it's one of those things, like, it's so down a certain road, like I wouldn't know where to fix it. Yet they're totally excelling in, like, technology and all that. It's everything. But I would highly, despite the pain in the ass to go over there, the fucking people are awesome. They're fucking hilarious. They got great taste too, like the comics that they like and everything. Like they're just, they don't
like any hacks.
Oh, dude, I could tell off the air, dude. Some of the shit that they're such fucking comics. Like they asked a couple, how's setups, punchlines, and they were just like, all right, who do you fucking hate? Like, who do you think is getting all this attention, but they just absolutely suck? And I'm I'm on the other side of the globe, and I'm like, this shit is all the way over here. It was fucking hilarious. So, so if any of them are listening to this, I had a great time talking to you guys, and thank you for getting me on the podcast and all that. It was a really great, awesome group of guys, and the show was ridiculous.
It was actually people who all live there, or people who they're like expatriates, or they're all people.
In India, that's what's the shit about India it was all Indian people. When I went to Hong Kong, it was like a lot of expatriates and maybe 20% Chinese people, and Singapore was ridiculous crowd. It was like a fucking New York crowd, man.
Wow,
really like Singapore and Hong Kong, like really just international cities. And
did you like Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, when you walk around Hong Kong, I swear to God, you feel like you're in Chinatown in New York. But it's just gigantic.
Right.
Unless you're on the water and you see the skyline. But when you go into the city a little bit, you're just walking down the streets. But it's, to just look at it really quickly, I should say, it looks like that. And sometimes parts of San Francisco a little bit, because there's a lot of hills and shit. But, at least I think there was, dude. I'm really like fucking, it was a whirl kind of wind thing, like.
Been to too many places.
Here's another one. New Zealand, dude. You go into New Zealand and they like check the dirt on your shoes.
What?
Because it's a totally like pure island.
Yeah.
And there could be some sort of fucking organism in the dirt that could literally fuck up their ecosystem. Like, dude, I actually promised New Zealand people I wasn't going to say how awesome it was there, because that was my thing. Oh, this place is so fucking awesome. I'm not going to tell anybody in America about it.
Everyone says how amazing this place is.
It's incredible. And, yeah, dude, I mean, dude, we went, I saw a fucking waterfall.
Right.
Like, you drive out of the city for like, a half hour, and you just go up, and there's this fucking waterfall that like looks like out of a movie.
Right.
And it's not even one of their best ones. It's just one of the waterfalls. And like, 80% of 7% of their birds are only on that island. Of course, I didn't fucking see any. I didn't have any time, but yeah, it was.
I'm looking at some pictures of the waterfalls alone. Did you do any of those weird sports they do over there?
You know what I went to when I was over there? I went to the Australian Open, and I watched Serena Williams play.
Oh, no kidding.
I saw... oh, yeah, dude, fucking Australian people yell out, too. There was this fucking drunk guy, and he was yelling out at this woman. Her last name was Keys. And they put Z on everything, like, you want a little brekkie instead of breakfast and all that. So this guy's going, come on, Keezy! Come on! Screaming and shit. And he knew exactly when to do it. And it became, like, really fucking funny as far as just... I don't know, dude. It was.
And your comedy goes over well in New Zealand.
Most of it, and then there's other points where
you hit a joke where they're like, "Oh, they don't understand the reference or whatever."
What doesn't go over? Is there certain cultural, like, timely things that are happening here?
No, you'd be surprised what they know. This is what when I go over there, I just act like I'm here until they don't laugh, and then when it doesn't work, I just make fun of myself for thinking that they'd understand that.
You acknowledge it, right?
Yeah, like, you know what else kind of was a weird one was I was talking about my wife making me a sandwich, and over here I just said, cut it in half and dump some Fritos. So that's my favorite. I fucking love Fritos. And I said Fritos, and it wasn't getting a hit. So then I switched it to chips, and then in my act I'm going, well, chips are fries over here. And then I was like, potato chips, and then I finally just started saying chips. Fuck it. Maybe they thought you made me French fries. You just kind of make like...
Yeah, you got to just work around it a little bit.
Yeah, the thing, it's still... It's still there, but it was ridiculous, dude. When you tour Australia, I got the guy for the tour manager, man, the guy was ridiculous.
How many cities did you do?
On the whole tour?
No, in Australia.
I did Perth, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney, and I didn't have a chance to do Adelaide. Just how the routing of the whole thing worked out, but Adelaide's another like city. Next time I go back, I'll do Adelaide, and then also that Isle of Tasmania that they have down, or Tassie as they call it. I think it's called Tasmania. I don't know. I'm going to do that and also do the South Island of New Zealand next time I go through. I mean, why the fuck not?
So you're going back to LA and you're just going to fucking sleep for a month?
No, I got fucking.
No, I got shit to do, but I'm just saying.
I got to punch up on that animated show that I can't wait to promote.
All right,
when it's coming out, man.
I heard you talking about that on Rogan's podcast, I believe.
Yeah,
that's coming up soon, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to December, but the amount of work that is involved doing one of those things, it's coming up really fast.
Right.
Even though it's only February.
What's the show for the people?
It's called F is for Family, and it's based on just telling, like, for years I would tell, like, if I told a childhood story to Jim dies laughing because he's a comedian or whatever, and then when I would go to tell it on stage, some twisted people who had a similar childhood would laugh, but I just kept getting groans like, oh. And I was so frustrated, like, how the fuck do I tell these goddamn stories? Right. And just one day I was out walking my dog. I just think when I'm out there sometimes, and I just hit me like, what if I animate it? And then I can still tell the stories, and then I can fucking ramp it up. Mm-hmm. And initially, I was like just going to make these vignettes on my website, put up my own money, and then it's a really long story here. I was working with Steve Burr, and he's friends with Vince Vaughn. Vince came out the show. Vince saw me.
Oh, it's a great story. Tell it.
Yeah, so Vince saw, liked my set, and then I came down there to meet him. And at that point, I was so sick of the development process because I've had so many they just, you get involved in a deal, and they don't even give you any money anymore. These back in the days, they give you stupid money. Now they don't even give you money, and then you're just tied up for a year, and you can't
do anything else.
You can't audition for shit that's greenlit, and now you're putting all your money on this fucking horse that might not even be in the fucking race, Mm-hmm. And so I walked in there. I said, "Listen, man," I was just like, he's got a production. Wild West is his production company. I was just like, "Listen, man, like I don't have an idea for a show. I've gone through the development process. I'm done. I'm not the development guy. I'm not running into that brick wall again. I love you guys make movies. I would love to be in a movie if you fucking, it's that." And we just kind of went back and forth. And then literally as I'm walking out the door, I was like, I kind of have this animation idea, whatever. And I didn't know they were looking to do something. They literally just grabbed me, pulled me back. What is the idea? And, dude, like fucking, it's been like 3.5 years later, we're finally getting this thing going. Like, we pitched it all over.
Is that how long ago that happened?
But we pitched it all over town. We got with this guy, Mike Price from The Simpsons, who's just a force of nature. Like, dude, he's like the captain of the ship. And what's great is, like, once all of a sudden it was going to become a show, I was kind of nervous because it's just like, man, I don't want to put all my family shit out there. Like, you know, this isn't going to be fair to my dad, my version.
Well, you could tell him I'm just exaggerating.
Yeah, that's them, Dad. They wrote it.
Yeah, you know,
No,
they
but what
pumped
it
that
is-
shit up.
but
You
what
know
it
it
is
didn't
now-
go down that way.
Yeah, but what it is now it's just, you'll see, like, if you knew my dad, you see elements of him because it became an amalgam of everybody's dad. 'Cause
Right.
when we put together the writer's room, we just had guys coming in and women coming in telling their stories. And when, like, they were telling shit, and they just like, oh, fuck, man, that sounds like my dad. And then if the writing matched up, then, so it's really going to be a cool thing. But, so anyway, so then we just started pitching it around town. I mean, we went to Adult Swim thinking like, this is going to be it, dude. This is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, we walk in there. It's such a young company. Everybody's in like their 20s. Like we're meeting with a 25-year-old guy. We're coming in looking haggard. We're all in our 40s and talking about doing a show that takes place in the 70s. And they're trying to wrap their heads around it. They're like, all right, old guys.
See you later.
Good luck with that. And I was just like, I've always been content to just be a comedian because I love doing it. So I was just like, hey, guys, you know, we went everywhere. Went to Amazon, went here, whatever. And Vince, another force of nature, guys. That's what I'm learning out there, dude. You just got to be this fucking plow. You just got to plow through it.
Is he as cool as everyone thinks, Vince Vaughn?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's the same guy, right?
Dude, he went into the pitch meetings. It was fucking hilarious. We went into the pitch meetings and he brought like his agent. Like we were rolling like fucking 15 people deep. And we'd go in and there'd just be some 25-year-old kids staring at these fucking old guys. And then we finally went into, he was the one, I believe, him or Peter Billingsley came up with the idea to fucking go to Netflix. And we pitched it over there and
It's going to be a huge hit.
I think that they liked my stand-up. They were kind of looking like, because they wanted me to do like the Bill Burr show or whatever,
Right.
and I came in there with an animated show. So I think at first they were like, kind of, what the fuck? But then, you know, Vince was there, thank God. And they're like, all right, well, what do we got to lose here? We'll do like 6 of these. But then what happened is, once they saw what we were doing, Netflix has been unbelievable. They're the exact opposite of a fucking TV network, where TV networks are always like, yeah, we want edgy. And then like, all right, let's fucking dial it down. And by the time it gets to the air,
No
it's not
edge.
even your show.
Of course.
They were actually going, push it further. And we're kind of going, we want to stay tethered to some sort of reality here, but, whatever. Dude, I feel like I'm the only guy talking here.
No, it's fucking very interesting.
We're catching up with you, Bill.
All right.
This
I
is
didn't realize that was
fascinating.
such a long process. I love hearing that.
We should take a break. We got food. Did you order anything? You need something?
Oh, dude, you know what I had last night?
You can have my oatmeal.
This is a classic. I'm drunk going to bed. I called my wife hammered. I'm like, order me some room service. She's like, honey, I don't know. Order me room service. And then I make the judgment call in the cab, like, they're not going to have room service. So I get a bacon, egg, and cheese, throw that down my fucking throat, and then walk into the thing. She had a burger and fries. I'm like, I already ate. And she goes, so you're just going to waste it? And I just sit down. Yeah. It's fucking the whole thing, dude. Like, I feel like I fucking ate a horse.
I wanted to go last night, too. It's just hard to stay out late and then come in and do this.
I'm annoyed I didn't go. I'm like,
Jimmy
what am I,
didn't
a
go
fucking
either.
old lady? I should have just shut up and went and hung out with the boys.
It was an after party. Everyone was there, right?
Yeah, it was so much fun. And like I said, I can't thank people enough, and you guys helping promote it, and
That's an easy one.
just like the positive effect that everybody who's bought tickets, what it's had on their lives. Like, you know,
Right.
his mom was able to, you know, buy herself a condo, and his stepdaughter is going to, like, you know,
They look
really
like
good
nice
school, right?
Yeah. Like basically all the shit Patrice
right.
was paying for, because you figured they went through that devastating loss. And the worst thing is, I hate, is when something like that happens, you have the benefit once.
Right.
And it's like, here's a sack of money that the government's going to take half of, so you'll be good for 6 months, and then you got to basically figure it out when the person who left was going to be taking care of these people for life. So it's such an easy thing to do, you know, where it's just one fucking show, and then it becomes like this stand-up high school reunion. We all get to fucking hang out and trash each other and shit. And
You're going to be
it's
attached to
perfect.
this for a very long time now.
I hope so.
You might have to seg into something else eventually, which would be kind of cool too.
Yeah, you know,
Maybe expand on it. I really think you could do 2 shows next year. We should try to push and do it.
Okay.
I know it's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work for you
For
guys.
Maureen, it's because right now Maureen's going, oh Jesus Christ, if she's listening. But I would.
But how many comics you need? Like seven or 8 a show. You need 16 guys. That's easy.
Yeah. Well, I won't pitch that to her for like another month.
Give her a month or two to relax,
Yeah.
right? I was
really,
texting her yesterday, too. I'm like, man, she's dealing with so much shit. And
She does all the work,
I
and
didn't
then-
even know what time the thing started. I felt bad. I had to
I
reach out
texted her
to
on the way to the venue. Where is it again?
Yeah.
You didn't even know.
She got a text from me. Where's the stage door? Right before I got there. Yeah.
She probably has that already copied and
Yeah.
just pastes it to everybody. But like,
Oh, exactly, because she wrote me back 7. That was it, 7. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, she's dealing with a lot of text messages from us dummies.
yeah, she basically does all the work, and then I walk out there like Steve Jobs,
Like a
she
rock
invents,
star.
and I come out just like, hey, showing it off. All the nerds are like, woo!
She got a good reaction when Rich brought her out at the end there, so she deserved that. We're going to take a break. We only have you till about 8:30, huh? You got a
I'm
busy
gonna
day?
go home and do the Dan Patrick show. So it's like I gotta fucking try to knock all these things out while I'm still here in town because I never get to do.
Yeah, we miss you, Bill. That's for sure. I want to talk about helicopters after the break.
Okay.
You were talking about helicopters before you went out on stage yesterday. I was horrified.
Yeah.
I want to redo that conversation with Jimmy.
Yes, Bill was on the set of the Twilight Zone. It's a great helicopter story.
Oh, Jesus.
I told Jimmy when I got in, I'm like, Bill Burr is into helicopters now. You got to hear this. Holy fuck. We'll get into it.
All right.
Quick break. We'll be
All
back. Valentine's Day is this weekend. Forget the long lines and crazy shoppers. Sherry's Berries.
Sherry's Berries, everybody.
Bill Burr loves Sherry's Berries.
That's right. Giant fucking strawberry nuts dipped in something. Chocolate.
Can you say chocolatey? Because I can't.
Chocolatey.
I can't say it.
Chocolatey goodness.
So I'm down to just saying chocolate goodness.
Put nuts on your berries with Sherry's Berries.
Sherry's Berries. I bring the Sherry's Berries home to my house every year.
Dude, that's the perfect gift because it's such a manufactured holiday. Like Sherry's Berries is doing you such a solid.
Absolutely.
There you go. Frisbee it right at her. Hey, what'd you get me? Did you get me any chocolate-covered pretzels?
And it's unique. There's many different kinds of chocolate strawberries.
What kind of flavors could I get there, Opie?
Well, you got the white, the milk, and the dark chocolate goodness topped with chocolate chips.
I gotta tell you, I'm a dark
swizzle, or
chocolate
nuts.
kind of guy. Wink, wink.
I'm a huge fan. What percent, though?
What?
What percent?
What do you mean?
Well, the dark chocolate has all sorts of percents now. You go 70% dark. You go 80% dark.
Oh, I have no idea. You know what? I like them all.
Fair enough.
I'll take one as pasty as me all the way to
You go
the chick who won the Oscar.
I think Sherry's Berries can take care of you then. I think they got the white chocolate and they go very dark with their chocolate. With the strawberries, I don't know how they keep the strawberries so wonderfully fresh.
Yeah, I don't know either. All I can tell you is astounding.
It's amazing. They figured this out.
They figured something else down there at the Sherry's Berries factory.
Sherry's Berries. If you have never heard Bill Burr's live read for Sherry's Berries, go to YouTube right now and find that. E-Rock, you got to just link it to our Facebook today.
I will.
It's ridiculous. Visit berries.com, berries.com, berries.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner. Type in Opie, O-P-I-E, or call 866-FRUIT-02. Go to berries.com. Click on the microphone. Enter the code Opie, O-P-I-E. Order today. Sherry's Berries is the gift she's sure to love.
Opie and Jim are back. Somebody make sure they know.
Oh, we know. We're here with Bill Burr, one of my favorites, by the way. Your latest special was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
You getting a little buzz on the Kevin Costner movie? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. The reviews were they were pretty much solid. There's critics always going to hate on shit, but reviews have been awesome, and everyone who actually goes and sees the friggin' movie has loved it. And it was such a great thing where it was a movie that Mike Binder,
right,
former stand-up comic, just one of the great friends I've met in this business. Like, I've actually have a legitimate friendship with the guy. He's just such a fucking great guy. Detroit guy, cigar smoker. It was over before it started, and we basically it was something that Mike wrote, and Kevin loved it, and we're like, all right, let's sell this fucking thing. There's no way nobody's going to buy it. And they got scared of it because it was race or whatever. And Costner was just like, fuck this, we're making this movie. And he put up his own money.
Wow.
So,
how much is that, you think? If you had to guess.
I think it was like $8 million to do it.
Yeah, just puts up $8 million.
No, dude. Nobody puts up $8 million like, maybe like Bill Gates does.
Did he get investors or did he put it up and,
he had investors, but I think he put in 8 of his own.
Wow.
And that was his big joke. Like, when I went to a couple premieres, And he would always be laughing, going like, you know what kills me about these things? Because the movie got like a standing ovation. He goes, you know what kills me about this? He goes, because it's my money in the movie. As much as people got a standing ovation, all I'm thinking right now is 2,000 people just saw this fucking movie for free. Yeah, dude, he was the greatest fucking guy. He when we rapped on it, he's a big, hunting, game, fishing guy, and he took me bow fishing, me and some of the other guys, and we went out in the fucking bayou at like, I don't know, it was like, we'd shot all day, and we went out there at like, I don't know what time it was, just bow and arrow shooting fish. And he
Did you get one?
I got 3.
No kidding.
It was fucking hilarious. What you got to do is you got to aim like 6 inches lower than how they look, because the illusion of the surface of the water makes them seem like they're higher, right?
Okay.
And I'm telling you, man, like your caveman thing just clicks in, like you feel like I'm not a liability, I'm going to get a good
do this.
I'm going to get a good woman when go back to camp,
I can take care of myself.
Yes, I've proved myself as a man, so I ended up shooting this one fucking thing, dude. This thing looked like prehistoric. It's called an alligator gar. If you want to bring that thing up.
We've seen these damn things over the years.
It's like part like eel, part alligator, and a little bit of platypus.
It looks like it was supposed to die like 1 million years ago, and for some reason it just survived.
There's only one left, and you killed it.
Look at this
fucking thing. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Alligator gar. If you want, look it up yourself.
So I shot the fucking thing, and I bring it into the boat, and they go, "Get stay away from his mouth, stay away from his mouth," and everything. And I'm feeling like a fucking savage, thinking I shot this fucking thing, and then I went home. Because we ended up releasing the thing. They released the thing. I'm like, it's going to be okay? I just put a hole through it. Like, it's going to be fine. They put it back in. And I remember feeling like a fucking man because I shot something like that fucking vicious looking. And I looked it up, and it's like they're docile and shy.
It's their manatee.
I felt so bad. I had some bit. I can't remember what I was doing with the thing. Just imitating that thing, talking to its friends after, looking the way it does, but like talking like a hippie, like, man, I'm just like hanging out, man.
Right.
And all of a sudden.
It looks evil, man.
Yeah, I felt really bad about that.
And it just doesn't bite you. Bill, so, your career's blowing up. Do you ever get fucking nervous? Like I saw you on the Seinfeld thing, just hanging with Seinfeld, and at the end of it, you're just
smoking. That was totally intimidating.
Yeah, you're just smoking cigars in a cigar bar with the guy at the end of Comedians in Cars.
Yeah.
You're hanging with Costner. Do any of these guys, like, freak you out?
Yes, but I'm able to... The great thing about being a comedian, the thing that fucks you up in your personal life, allows you to handle those moments the way we take shit and just put it in an emotional box and have it hover to the side of your head for a couple of decades.
Yeah.
You just do the same thing where it's just like, oh my God, that's Kevin Costner. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to put it over here, and I'm this guy, Rick Reynolds, and he's my boss, and I'm just going to block that out. But every once in a while...
It hits you?
Oh, dude, at one point we were shooting the scene in the courtroom. I play a lawyer, and it was Anthony Mackie's point of view. He's fucking amazing actor and killer in this movie. Everybody did such a great job, right? I'm being totally Hollywood phony, but I'm serious. I was totally covering my ass in case some other actor... How come you didn't bring me up? So everybody was amazing.
A lot of fun.
The craft service was phenomenal. It was his point of view, so they're basically... His POV is basically what he would see, so they're shooting at us. So I'm sitting to the left of Costner, and I'm looking over at Anthony to my left. So Costner's character has like a temper, and the big thing is I feel in the court case we're going to win as long as Kevin can keep his character can keep his cool, and Anthony is saying shit to bait him. And he said one thing that I knew was going to piss him off, so I just made this acting choice. I was going to look at him, just kind of put my hand on his forearm, like, hey man, like, just chill,
calm down, right?
So I didn't realize he was all fucking lit up and everything because it's on him, and I meant to go look at him, and I immediately in my head went like a little girl, like, oh my God, that's Kevin Costner. And I totally broke character.
You can see it on your face.
I could have done the high pitched thing better if I didn't fucking go out drinking last night. But I just totally there's definitely moments there's been a couple that remind Robin Williams. I had one where I did Jeff Garland's this improv show that he had. He just kind of does this. It's like an improv game that you go up and go do. So I'm sitting in a chair next to him. What was fucking hilarious is I was probably I felt like I was a foot away from the guy sitting next to him, and his arm hair was touching my arm.
Tickling you a little bit.
And I remember he used to always do bits about how hairy he was and how it looked like he had a sweater on. I saw all those Live Aid things. Not Live Aid,
Comic Relief.
Comic Relief thing that he did. And I'm literally thinking and then I'm laughing to myself that's iconic arm hair.
It's very famous, that arm hair.
That's an intimidating guy to improv with, though. Robin Williams.
Oh, God.
Big time. All of that.
Imagine.
And I probably come off as an aloof asshole, but what it really is I'm so downplaying everything that I'm trying to act like fucking it's normal, but it completely isn't.
Now, so you do a movie with Kevin Costner. Are you guys still in touch? I always wondered, when do the relationships kind of, not that you hate each other or anything like that, but where it sort of fades away because now he's onto something else, you're onto something else?
How the movie thing works is usually you'll make there'll be one person that you hang with. Like me and Mike Binder became the director.
Tight, right.
Yeah, comic, sports guy, Detroit guy, smokes cigars. That's why I said it was over. It was there was no, it was inevitable. But as far as Kevin's got he's got a big life, dude. You know what I mean? He's always working on other movies and that type of thing. So if that guy actually would, I don't know that he would have time to hang out with everyone who wanted to hang out with him. I told him, because he goes, this fucking boar hunting. I told him, man, he's like, you got to take me on one of those. I swear to God, I won't get in the way. There's this weird thing where I love animals and shit, but there's certain ones that I could actually kill and not feel bad.
No problem.
There's something about the noise a pig makes. I just don't have any empathy for it. I don't know why.
You don't like its voice.
Shut the fuck up.
Who was telling us about? I think Cowhead, Mike Calta, I guess, right? He was talking about boars and that they're just evil.
Oh yeah, they are, dude.
They're just evil fucking
creatures. There's a fucking YouTube video of this guy. He's wild boar hunting, and he's going up this hill. It's 45 degrees. He's an older guy, a fucking seasoned hunter, and this thing comes flying out of the brush, dude. This guy falls down. And this gun goes off, dude. It's it becomes a Three Stooges movie, and he's trying to fucking run away. The only thing it was missing was the Benny Hill music, and his buddy wants to shoot it.
Right.
But it's not like the movies where you just yeah, I'm going to take the shot. You're not. Your buddy's there. So he was trying to get out. I don't know where the fuck it is. And
I'll look for it later.
Yeah.
Pissed off charging. Wow, there's a million pissed off charging boar videos. So
yeah, they're fucking pretty nasty, man.
Oh yeah,
they look nasty. I hear they are nasty. So
and absolutely delicious.
Absolutely. You got to talk about helicopters before you say goodbye to us.
Oh, okay.
So what
do you want to know?
Well, you decided to is it a hobby? I mean,
no, I'm going to quit comedy and become a professional. I'm going to get tours of the Grand Canyon.
Imagine. I did that tour.
Hey, aren't you that guy from I Love the 80s? Yeah, shut the fuck up. That was another life.
You realize that as you're 1,100 feet in the air, you're like, oh my God, fucking don't look at our pilot.
I did the helicopter tour over the Grand Canyon. Kind of horrifying. You go just above the tree line. Next thing you know, it opens up to the Grand Canyon, and you're like, holy fuck. Yeah. And then you kind of get word that these things go down a lot over there for some reason. They've had a bunch of accidents.
I
didn't tell my brother because I didn't want to freak him out. I gave him the trip, so I told him afterwards. He's like, thanks for not letting me know that beforehand.
Yeah,
no, creepy,
dude. If they had a bunch of them, they wouldn't let them do it.
Right, but helicopters is creepy because it's that it kind of hesitates as it's flying.
No.
It must be. Maybe it's because of the Grand Canyon. Then maybe they got something different going on.
Turbulence. I would think that would be.
But it feels like it's like kind of pulling a little bit, pulling you back, and then it's going forward. Maybe the helicopters are too old. Maybe they're not maintaining them. I don't know.
After Dog Day Afternoon, I'll never get on one because that's when that scene when Jack Warden takes Pacino out, and he's like, "We're not going to make it back." He's like, "Well, maybe not." You remember that? And they drop like fucking 50 feet from the land.
Yeah, but you now fly helicopters.
Oh no, I got 6 more. I'm getting ready to take my test. I have major anxiety about taking the test because I was a horrible student, and for years I've wanted to do this, but you got to have the time and you got the money. It's fucking expensive, and it was. And I just didn't think that I could do it, and I have a horrible science background and all that, and all this stuff that I thought I was going to hate, the physics of it, and learning about weather and all that. I devoured it, I loved it because it wasn't being forced on me, and it was fascinating. And but I did. I was talking about on my podcast, I had my first couple of solos off airport. One was just a quick one, and then I had the last one where you fly all the way out to French Valley, and I had to land at 2 different airports, one controlled, one uncontrolled. And dude, I swear to God, I flew for 3, on the Hobbs, you look down how long you've been flying. It was a little over 3 hours. You had to fly at least 3 hours to get.
By yourself.
To get credit.
Oh my God.
And dude, I swear to God, man, talking to yourself. You're making sure you got what airspace you're in, when to change the frequencies, all of this fucking shit, dude. It was 3 solid hours of nonstop thinking. I got out. The fucking pilots, the guys who teach you are so fucking funny. There's this guy that teaches me, man. He's such a ball breaker, man. And he knew it was my big day. This is the big day, your 3-hour one. And I'm sitting there, looking over, making sure I got all my notes and I know where I'm going to fly. And, dude, you have to draw, your checkpoints,
right.
The highways. And you have to, I memorized them, man, because you go up there, you get fucking lost. You don't think that, but you just don't know where the fuck you are, right? Especially the LA base can really look similar, you know?
Are you flying over water most of the time for that?
No. You're flying over land. So, he sat down next to me and just kind of, that's stupid. I'm telling the story. It was a face he made. He just sat down next to me, just he clapped his hands and went, he made that kind of face, and I fucking bursted out laughing. It was such a cool thing that he did,
right?
Because it made me laugh and I relaxed. And then I went out there and I was so fucking like let's just go. And I fucking when I pulled power to lift off, I pulled it like there was 2 people in the helicopter, and I fucking went and I was fucking rocking. I had to settle, what the fuck am I doing? And I had to settle. And you always have those moments. And then other than that, it totally went fucking smooth until when I was coming back to the airport. I'm reporting, and I was on the wrong frequency, and I reported at the fucking, where was it? You're supposed to report at the 5, the 605, and then there's this car dealership where you report, and I'm taking a left going into the airport, and there's JetBlue's fucking jets landed, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck do I do? What is the other frequency? And that information was in the seat underneath me, and that you can't just take your hands off the controls like an airplane, that you can kind of put it on auto. You can't do that. And I'm like, what? I was literally going what the fuck do I do?
Wow.
I guess I would have gone back to the previous airport that I went by, requested to land. I would have landed there and then get out the fucking information. But fortunately, the tower realized it, saying, helicopter northbound of the airport, you're on the wrong said the frequency. And I came and I'm like, sorry, student pilot. Student pilot.
Oh, no.
No, but you're supposed to say that, as a student pilot, you're supposed to say that after all your when you announce your positions, you're supposed to say student pilot or whatever, or at least, as you're approaching the airport. And, what's funny is when guys who actually know what they're doing, one guy was joking, goes, I've used that a couple times when I fucked up so bad. I was so embarrassed. I just said student pilot. Yeah. So it's kind of you're out. Yeah.
What altitude were you flying at?
Well, you always try to stay at least 1,000 feet up in case you have a problem, to give you time to auto rotate to go down. And, so that's another thing as you're flying, and you're looking over at that empty seat. You're like, if this fucking thing is, fucks up, I gotta know where to put this thing down. So you're constantly going, I put it there. And then you're also thinking all right, where? And then you're just sitting there come on, God, just, if it's ever going to happen to me, just don't have it happen on the first fucking one. So,
right. But if there's a major malfunction, you could pretty much land it safely.
Yeah, I hope
the odds. What were you saying last night, though? The odds are pretty good. It's
no, if you know what you're doing, you got. Whatever helicopter you learn on, they teach you the envelope basically which to fly in. So basically, when you auto rotate, I used to be one of those guys that think if the helicopter engine cut out, you're done. You're just going to drop because you can't glide. But what it really is you use the weight of the ship and the attitude of it, and it causes the air as you're descending, the air rushing up is what's turning the rotor. So the thing is there's a critical point though that the RPMs can't drop lower than. And that's like the second you hear the low RPM horn, dude, is the most sickening fucking, that fucking noise Jim Carrey makes in the first Dumb and Dumber. Picture that to the 90th power.
Oh my God.
And you just like a lab rat, you just slam the collective down. And
what's the collective?
That's your power. It looks like an emergency brake. And that's the thing that it basically makes you go up and down make it as simple. And, you immediately slam that fucking thing down, and you want to have it at about 65 knots is the speed you want. And then it's just trim airspeed RPM. You catch the RPMs as they come up so you don't overspeed. But they don't give a fuck. If you overspeed the main rotor and you break the helicopter, they don't give a fuck. The reality is they want you to get it on the ground. But as they're teaching you how to do it, you got to make sure you don't overspeed it, or else you'd fuck up the helicopter. So, and then as the ground's coming up, you pick your spot, and as the ground's coming up, at about 40 feet off the deck. It's gentle aft cyclic, which is the stick between your legs, ever so slightly, and it flares the nose up, and you literally stop like a fucking cartoon in the air. Then you level it off, and then you drop like a stone down to 10 feet, and then you pull that emergency brake up. That's your last bit of power, and it slows you down. These guys who know how to do it, dude, you land like a fucking daisy, man.
Right.
Who know how to do them. So there's an advanced auto rotation class, which I am immediately going to go into once I get my license, because would never want the first time I had it. Because right now, to pass, I just got to get it to the flare, and then you just roll back on power. But I wouldn't want the first time I ever had to take it all the way down to the ground to be the first time I ever fucking did it. So, it's a very serious thing, and it's made me a better driver, and it's also made me freak out way more of driving down the highway. Like, driving down the highway is one of the most dangerous fucking things you'll ever do. It's like you're flying in formation with people who you have no radio contact with. They don't have a flight plan. They've done no pre-flight on their car. They're texting. They're hungover. They're talking, and it's just like, somebody can come flying out like on the other side of the road and slam into you. It's just like, dude, it's the sickest fucking thing.
I think of it every time I'm on the highway. I'm like, we can't figure this out better still? This is nuts. You're absolutely
the fact
right.
That, you would never fly a plane as close as you'll drive a hatchback to an 18-wheeler. Right. And you're just counting on the fact that this guy sees you. You have no idea where he's going. You have no idea his mental state. You have no idea what the fuck is going on. And it's like
all the cars you trust just on a lane highway where they're flying right at you. We just assume, they're going to do the right thing, and we're not going to have a massive collision.
I got my motorcycle license, and I rode for like 3 months out in L.A., and this guy loaned me a bike. He goes, "Don't be the asshole who buys the bike and then decides it's not for you."
Right.
So fortunately, he loaned it to me, and it was smart because I gave it up after 3 months. I was just like, I thought I was gonna ride and feel free and fucking see all this shit, and it's just fucking terrifying. Terrifying.
There's nothing around you.
Yeah, and it was just too much. Dude, you drive down the street and some branch fell off a fucking tree. That can literally just, you don't just fall out of your car when you drive over a branch. I literally, after a while, I'm like, I might as well be riding on the front end of a car. I'm like a fucking hood ornament.
Right.
And I just kept getting on it thinking, like, can I fall off a motorcycle this week? Like, what do I have coming up? And the answer was always no.
Yeah.
And I also, play drums and shit. I'm just thinking, like, what if I fucked up my legs and I could never play drums again? I just think like shit like that. And that's not where you want to be. And one time I thought I was feeling comfortable and everything. I got off the bike and I noticed, like, not severely, but I was shaking. And it's like literally, it's smart. Like, if you go on and you have no fucking fear, like you're.
Oh, there's a million guys obviously that love it.
Yeah.
We were in LA for the X Games, and
right.
we talked to all those motocross guys.
Dude, those guys are unbelievable.
Insane, right?
They're unbelievable.
But I asked them the basic question, like, do you ride, on the highway? And I'm almost every single guy said, no, I'm not crazy. And you know what they could do with with their bikes in competition.
Dude, those motocross guys, when they fucking do that 360 and shit, like, I know they land in foam and shit, but it's just like the first time.
How do you do it the first time? I always think
like,
that.
Here we go.
Right. Now I got to, like, do this. And hopefully it'll work.
Savage shape, like the amount of, like, the torque and just how you have to control that fucking bike, man, is just like.
They say when they're in competition, they're in complete control and they know how to fucking ride their bikes and stuff. But on the highway, just like you said, they're like, there's too many people. You have to just fucking trust that they're not going to just come in your lane because they don't see you and all that
everybody
shit.
Talks about in aviation is you don't want to fly on the weekends because it's all jerk offs like me, like, this is my hobby.
Really?
Yeah. and you want to fly on like not most perfect conditions. If it's a clear day on a fucking weekend, like, I would think that your odds of somebody flying into the side of you go up exponentially because everyone's just like, dude, they played me this thing. There's a guy who was not instrument rated, and he was flying. That's the great thing I love about flying in LA is there's barely any cloud cover, and all of a sudden all this cloud cover comes in, and dude, you want to talk about a guy freaking out? He's literally yelling, "I'm gonna die! I'm gonna die!" He's talking to tower, and they talk this fucking guy in, and it's just.
That's gonna be embarrassing when you land.
No, it isn't. It isn't, dude, because.
I mean, if you're freaking out like that.
No, but it isn't, though, because. Okay. It's something if you just, dude, because everybody's been that guy soloing for the first time. Because all those pilots were breaking my balls afterwards. Like, talking about my liftoff, how awful it was, because they all saw it. They all fucking saw it.
Just busting your balls. That's awesome.
Fucking just, merciless. Dude, pilots merciless fucking ball breaking.
Sure.
Just type A fucking maniacs. And but once you just say, I was just like, I said to him, I said, dude, I've done stand up at the Apollo. I've done fucking Letterman, which is terrifying. There was nothing scarier than flying that fucking thing for 3 hours by myself. And that's another joke I have. Like, I don't say a solo. I'm like, am I flying by myself? And once I said that, everybody's just like, oh yeah. And then they all say, like, dude, I was scared shitless too. And they're like, oh, what gives you a really boost of confidence, because you look at them, they're like fucking, they're looking like Maverick to you.
Yeah.
So you're just like, all right, that's cool.
You started somewhere.
What else do you got to do to get the actual license? What's your next test?
You know what? I don't even know. I did a bunch of them right before I left, and then the thing with my job is there's periods where I don't fly for a while. So then what I do is I just rent a helicopter, and I go up with an instructor, and we just kind of review the stuff I know. But then I also always pick a cool flight plan. Like, I'll fly over my house. I flew over Dodger Stadium, it's just
that's
it's
awesome.
the coolest fucking. The night flight was the shit, dude. When we did the night flight, we came over the Hollywood Hills, right over the sign, like between the sign and the Griffith Park Observatory. And, dude, I felt like I was in Die Hard, dude. It was the fucking shit.
Right on.
I can't even, it's such like a privilege and a responsibility to be able to do it. Like, you really, this weird way, like, matures. Like, I'm such an immature asshole, but like, I find like I'm not joking around or anything. Like, I'm really, you can't believe too what you like when you finally solo, like unless you're a fucking jerk off, like, you never think you're ready,
right?
Like, they know when you're ready. So when they go, all right, I'm stepping out, fly the traffic pattern, like, you're just sitting there and like, you can't believe what you know. Like, when I went to fly the traffic pattern, which is basically you take off and then you turn crosswind, downwind, turn base, then final. It's just like you're just flying in this rectangle, right? So, like, my second time around, they had me hold over this building as a JetBlue, and they just called my tail number. They told me to hold, which is you basically just loop back around the building. And I did it, and I was thinking, like, holy fuck. I didn't think I knew how to do that. And you just, all this shit, you're like crossing over 3-0, carburetor heat coming up. You're just talking to yourself. Lower collective, right pedal for trim. You're literally just talking you're just saying everything the instructor said for fucking months and months and months. All of a sudden just starts coming out of you like the fucking Manchurian Candidate. And,
that's awesome.
How many times before you went up by yourself? Like, how much stuff did you do with the instructor before it's finally your turn?
It won't sound like a lot, but I think it was like 35 hours of flying. It takes you about like anywhere from 6 to 10 hours to learn how to hover. That's the hardest thing at first, like, feeling how it moves. Mm-hmm. And also, like, the first time you sit in a helicopter, the second that fucking blade starts going around, it's impossible not to be like, that's going to chop my fucking head off. Like, there's no way not to think of it. But, unfortunately, they're telling me I got to run out of here. But, thanks again for all you guys helped, man. That was such a great night last night.
No, you did a lot, man. You were much more a part of putting that together than the other comics.
Bill's downplaying it.
What's his face? Just crushed it as always.
That was a great show, man. The crowd was awesome. Everyone had good sets. There was no bad sets.
Yeah.
It was
So I think 8 is the magic number, and Russ Maneve.
Russ Maneve for next year.
Definitely.
So we're doing a 4th.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah.
We're
taking care of the people that Patrice loved, man. That's what he would have done. And that guy would fucking kill me if I didn't step up.
Yeah. Very good.
He'd do it for me. So
Bill, always a pleasure, man.
All right, guys.
Any plugs?
The movie, Kevin Costner film?
Yes, please go see Black and White. Please watch it legally. Get poor Kevin Costner's money. I'm kidding. I mean, but come on, man.
And maybe some Better Call Saul eventually?
Well, you know what?
You never know.
The further that goes into the season, because they going back to 2002, eventually, hopefully, he'll run into my character.
Right.
And the joke I've been saying to him is, with my hairline, you better run into him sooner. You guys going to get a fucking award for making me up. All right, guys.
Bill.
See you, buddy.
Bill Burr, everyone.